The Pokemon Company International has banned the sale of graded slabs and of Pokemon Center products at official sanctioned events. Let's dive into the news and see who this really affects. In this article from PokeBeach, it says that they've learned from the Pokemon Company that they're no longer allowing official partnered vendors to sell graded slabs at its events, including the NAIC and Worlds, effective this weekend. It also says that they've learned that vendors are banned from selling items over 1,000 or most Pokemon products from the Japan Pokemon Center. I think today's a really bad day to be these vendors. What do you think?
All right, so shout out to Dude-tacular because I think he's bringing an interesting point into the importance of where he's bringing in an interesting take into the direction of where the Pokemon hobby is heading into. And I think that's an interesting timing too during Worlds. But right, so Pokemon, the company, is taking a stance against graded cards and then sealed product for the most part, or stuff that is going to be over $1,000. That's the kind of stuff that is getting the most attention from the consumer, from the regular people, and they are bringing new people into the hobby. Why? Because they're seeing sales for thousands of dollars, $250,000 to upwards of $16 million in the Pokemon hobby. And this is kind of relevant. Are we going to be seeing finally like a stagnation? Are we going to be seeing a panic sale of like sealed product? What does this mean for the graded market? Because they're banning the sales of graded cards. They didn't target PSA specifically. They just said graded cards in general. So graded cards are a no-go at this event, one of the bigger events. But does it really matter? I would argue and say Pokemon is trying to put a pause to it. But the fact that most big conventions are not what I would say Pokemon sanctioned conventions is not really going to slow it down. People might sell some of their stuff because they think that the market is going to crash, but it's not. I'm sorry. Right now, the people who are really controlling the state of the hobby, the popularity, are going to be investors, are going to be resellers and flippers, not so much collectors. If anything, if you're a true collector, then going to these events is probably going to be some of the better times that you could potentially get good deals for cards that you might want to add to your collection. It might be a fantastic time. And remember, Worlds is an international event. So the stuff that you think that might be completely underappreciated here in the western parts, like in the United States, some of these cards could be stupid expensive or seen completely different across the world just for like a stupid gimmick. For example, take the Cosmo Holo Foil Trick or Treat cards. Like, they have a stamp that is only exclusive to the United States because this is our holiday, but collectors overseas might really want these, especially that collectors overseas also do really appreciate some of the newer Pokemons. It's not just Gen 1 love, but that's just a different take, right? Just a different perspective. But so these events, these Pokemon section events, are going to be more friendlier for collectors, not so much for the resale market. But that's not going to change the fact, because we're going to be seeing crazy sales, I believe. I don't know. I don't watch selling content. It doesn't interest me. But like what I do see is occasionally on Instagram or on TikTok or on Discourse, one of you guys will send me something, and then I'm like, oh shit, this is interesting, right? You can find me in all these social media websites under the same username. Hey, it's just that. But they see interesting sales, they send it to me, and occasionally that's when they talk about the hobby or what's going on. But you will probably be seeing huge sales, record-setting sales, or interesting sales that will tell you the condition of the hobby at these other events. Collecticon, Card Party, that are not sanctioned by Pokemon themselves. In fact, we're starting to see big private equity money going into these events and running it. Didn't we just have a scandal where they were trying to charge, the Teamster Union was trying to charge an extra $150 fee for these vendors to bring in their carts? That's ridiculous. Like in the vending, like this is not controlled, or like big money has really entered the hobby, and you guys gotta see that. It's eventually gonna pop. There's no way is this sustainable. Like, I don't know. I refuse to believe that it is. That's just my hot take, right? But you're seeing signs. You're seeing really big signs of big money, corporate level money entering the hobby, right? They're running these events. Beside running these big events, they're doing schemes or products, mystery packs. They're selling to the consumers with graded cards. Why is that a interest point? Due to these companies doing these mystery fucking products, these mystery bags, the grading companies, the big grading companies, have been kind of locked out. And look, I'm not gonna say Pokemon is at fault at this, but Pokemon literally did start a trend, but that made TCG a very interesting subject of like wealth building with the community. Not just the Pokemon community, but we're talking about the people against corporations. You know, not a lot of people feel like they can live a good life by working a 9 to 5. A lot of people are in this hobby to resell, to make money so they can maybe, just maybe, catch a break in life. Because working hard and doing the good thing is not going to fucking get you anywhere. That's a real fact, right? But these corporations are running a scheme based on something that's always been extremely popular in gaming culture, like and like everyday culture and hip hop culture, or whatever you want to call it. But they're doing mystery bags. That's the real life version of a loot box. Loot boxes have been extremely predatory, but successful in the gaming community, and now we're just basically doing this shit. I feel like at this point we're 100% running a fucking simulation. And if you if you don't see this and you don't think this is true, that we're living in a simulation, then I got bad news for you, buddy. You might be an NPC. You're not an NPC, and right now you're seeing that the current meta is Pokemon. Pokemon is the current meta, and that's the way I honestly see things. But big money's in the hobby, right? And big money can do big money moves, which means thousands upon hundreds of thousands, about maybe even millions of submissions to these grading companies that have basically blocked them up, right? It started with Tag being the first one to say, we can't do this, we have to pause submissions unless you pay us extra. We have to pause submissions because we won't be able to give it to you in the time that we told you, right? They were the first one to do it. PSA took advantage of that, and they're like, nope, keep on coming, you can pay us more and you can wait even longer, and we'll still make you fucking pay that upcharge, but we will take your submissions. Let's do it. Plus, you want to grade with us with PSA, because we run the convention scene. We are for the common folks. You know, PSA is what every single common folk who's into the hobby for the money is chasing. There's no denying that. If you see the opportunity to make money using PSA, go ahead. That is your choice. That's what you can do with your life. But that's being honest too, right? But PSA said, nope, keep it coming, we got it. And then like a week later, hey, okay, nah, never mind, we don't got it, right? That's how a lot of people are taking it. Personally, I'm taking it as like, this is collector company. This is part of their scheme. They're like, oh shit, we already got a company that is backlogged 10 million cards. We're going to stop it. We're probably going to get another last minute 1 million, 2 million submissions. Not probably 1 million submissions last fucking minute, but people are going to submit. But we'll be done. Like, We don't have to grade until next year, but we got $10 million of cards that we're definitely going to upcharge because the Pokemon market is going to continue to get hot because the 30th anniversary is around the corner. So these cards, every single fucking Pokemon card is going to go up on value. Therefore, every single Pokemon card submitted in the bulk value is going to get upcharged. Just fucking watch. People are going to get demolished by this. Maybe the bigger companies are going to succeed. Right? Meaning that now people... collector companies looking down, and I'm like, okay, BGS is still, we still offer a card like value bulk submission at $17 or $18 per card. Keep it coming, like it's fine. My company A is fully stocked up now. As collector, the parent company, my goal would be to get company B, Beckett, company C, SGC, get filled up as close as possible to the $10 million. Why? Because that's their hobby. That's the thing. You got a company that you can charge an upcharge and people will pay for it. You got people who will be grading, going after the black label. Fantastic. And then SGC is doing fairly popular just with sports cards. Sports cards are doing really, really well right now too. Sports cards are doing well. So people are paying extra money in sports cards. And maybe there's going to be some brave souls who are going to be grading their TCG with SGC and maybe locking it up too. As a collector, as the parent company of PSA, that's kind of what you would want. CGC, they will take the submissions as they can, but they're gonna get locked up. CGC is gonna get locked up. Tag is already locked up. Every other smaller companies are gonna start getting locked up. But even then, I think it's a little bit weird. Not weird, but I understand his move, right? But I showed you a video of Alpha Investments, Rudy, about talking about the hobby, but then he followed it up with a video the following day saying it's like, hey, big money company, if you need someone to grade your cards, we're available. He's making a public announcement to go ahead and take the submissions because he understands too that this last minute overflow has to go somewhere. So he's opening up his doors, this invitations. Look, Alpha Investments and Rudy are gonna make big money out of this move. I won't be surprised if we start seeing other content creators. PokeRev would be, I wouldn't be put it past him. Maybe the Card Lounge, people in the hobby that have big the Bobo Store, that have big social media profit, like something, come out with a grading company in themselves, but it's with their image and likeness. And I wouldn't be like, oh, maybe they don't want to do it, but if they're smart enough, you would try to take advantage of the hobby like this and establish a grading company using AI. Now, I'm just saying, it's your image, you're using computer technology because you understand that maybe this is where the hobby is going to be going in the future. And like, people will, if you have super fans will pay pretty big money for your products. I'm just saying, I won't be surprised if we start seeing this kind of stuff. Look, I think the hobby is a little cooked. If you're a flipper in your investment, like, it could be the most exciting times, but maybe this could be the start where, like, oh, you're starting to see the cracks of the infrastructure. As a collector, I think this is going to hurt us. I think for the modern cards, we're not always chasing the best set, the chase cards, but there's some good arts in these new modern cards. Look, I think the raw card value is going to go up. I think Pokemon is going to get it's going to get more expensive. It's about to get a little bit more expensive in every single way of aspect of the hobby. It's going to get a lot more expensive. So as a collector, be ready to hurt a little bit more. I think you're going to start hurting. If you weren't a binder copy or you were a binder copy and you were doing okay, I think you're about to start hurting. Personally, but that's just my take. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But look, if raw cards are going to get that much more expensive, I think you guys should really narrow down your collection and really start going after either certain illustrators, certain Pokemon, certain cards, like certain things that really stand out to you. Because, like, as much as I keep doing this content, like, and whenever I'm doing my route, doing my mail, having my conversations here and there, talking with other Pokemon content creators, I start thinking random thoughts in my head. Like, I'm like, oh, Pokemon is pretty cool. Pokemon Go really made me want to have Pokemon in real life, and it made me ask myself that question. Based on where you're living, what kind of Pokemon would you have? Assuming that you had to feed them, assuming that you had to take care of them. What kind of Pokemons would you have in your team? How many? And like I thought about this myself, and I'm like, what kind of Pokemon cards would what kind of Pokemons would I want I would want to take care of? I think the first one, like living in El Paso, and I think this could be a common one in the city, seeing how El Paso is the 6th biggest city in Texas, and Texas is a pretty big fucking state. Magnemite. I think Magnemite would be one of those Pokemons that you could find in the city, and I would definitely want to have a Magnemite in my team, like, or following me around. I think that would be super cool. Feeding wise, I'm pretty sure maybe I'll be able to fucking plug a solar panel up his ass, right? Up his charger, and he'll be okay if that's all he needed. Like energy, battery, yeah, solar panel, done. Cheapest one, cool one, electric. Am I going to have the type advantage here in El Paso? Absolutely not. I'm going with the steel electric. El Paso has the Rocky Mountains, or the Rocky Mountains, part of the Rocky Mountains. So you can expect a lot of rock and ground type Pokemon. So probably not looking good. Which would lead me to my second one. We're also part of the Chihuahua Desert, White Sands here in the city. So I would think that the second Pokemon that I would want to have in my team would be Trapinch. Ground type, dragon type, probably take forever to evolve based on real life implications. But if you had a dragon ground type here in El Paso, I think you would have a fantastic Pokemon to have in your team. Why? There's not a lot of water. The only water that we have is the Rio Grande. So, that water over ground here, that unless people are bringing Pokemon from other parts of the world, which ideally that's what will happen, right? You have a pretty good starter. Same thing, maybe you'll find some leaves, but the ground type, dragon type coverage kind of kills that. So, you don't have to worry about ice. Yeah, Flygon, I think it's a super underrated Pokemon pick here in El Paso. So Magnemite, Flygon, and obviously the last version or the last Pokemon that I would want to have, I think it would be super generic, but it would probably be an Growlithe, and I would hope that eventually I would have enough money to buy a Firestone and have an Arcanine. I think Arcanine would be the coolest real life Pokemon to have right beside you. A big old guardian dog, and to me, a big old guardian dog to look over my family would be an ideal pick, right? Easy made. So Arcanine, Flygon, and Magnemite. Yeah, those would be my 3 Pokemon that realistically I would like to be an owner of, which means looking forward, I'll probably be focusing down, narrowing down my collection on Magnemite, Arcanine, and Flygon cards going in the future. So with that being said, even though I ragged on him a little bit too much, Robert, thank you for this Flygon, this Cosmo Hollow Flygon. It's even better now. That's it from then. I'm just rambling now. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and if you weren't, hopefully this video made it better. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.